Now, some people are looking at the conflict that is occurring in Palestine, Dr. Shabir, and wondering, why have we chosen the side that we have chosen? Why are we supportive of Palestine? Because some people might think, okay, there's two different sides, right? There's Israel and Palestine. They just need to find a way to come to the table and work it out together. And they've had this conflict for a long time. They got to figure it out. So why is it that Muslims are defending Palestine? Is it because Palestinians are Muslims? Is it because they're the underdog? Is there some other reason that Muslims are supporting Palestine? And how should they make the determination of who to back and support?
Yeah, I want to answer that question from two perspectives, Sophia. First, a simple answer to the question, and then second, to explore why this question arises in the first place. Mm-hmm. So first, the simple answer to that is that Muslims stand and should stand for truth and justice and fairness for all peoples, regardless whether they be Jew or Muslim, whether Palestinian or Israeli. That's a simple formula. In fact, we are taught this in the Quran. The Quran says, "Kumu qawamina bil qisti shuhada lillah." Stand up for justice, being witnesses for God, and then walau ala anfusikum, even if it is against your own people. Okay, now why is that even a question? Like, how does the question occur? The question arises because of two different sets of knowledge about what has happened and what is happening. Or shall we say that some people are more aware of the situation than some others? You see, a lot of Muslims are interested in what is happening in Palestine because we feel some affinity to the people of Gaza in particular, and Palestine in general, because we know them to be our brethren in faith. And often people are not aware of things happening in other parts of the world. Sometimes the conflicts force us to get more acquainted with the geography, the politics, and so on of the region. So some people are not aware of the whole history of Palestine and what has been happening to Palestinians over time. And we are seeing the reality where Canada wants to bring its citizens out of Gaza, but is powerless to do so. Despite attempts. And yes, we can get them out in trickles. Canada wants to bring 1,000 persons from Gaza. Uh-huh. That's a trickle. If you think of 100 countries taking 1,000 each, that's just 100,000 out of 2.3 million people, right? And so it's very symbolic. It's very it's to say, look,
we did something.
We did something, right? But even then, to get the 1,000 out is not easy, right? So then think about that situation where people do not have the freedom of self-determination, freedom to travel. And I was just speaking about the absence of an airport. Start with the passport. If people don't have a passport, like how are they going to travel anywhere? Well,
it's even worse than that because they don't have enough to eat. They don't have electricity, right?
Yes.
They don't have proper water.
Exactly. To think that another entity has such total power and control over you that they can shut off the water at will, that they can, disconnect the electricity at will. And it's not only now because there is a conflict. The water supply has for a long time. This has been mentioned by independent studies for decades now. That Israel is controlling the water supply that goes into the West Bank and into Gaza and so on. So why should this be? So to live in that situation, one has to have experienced that sort of life, at least some bit of it, in order to appreciate it. This is why the case before the ICJ came from South Africa rather than somewhere else. Well, it should have come first and foremost from our fellow Muslim brothers and sisters in the Muslim majority lands, but it didn't. And once it has come forward, it should have been supported by other Muslims, just as Germany wants to support the case against it. There should be many voices saying, yeah, that's a good case.